Hello and welcome to our podcast, On Your Marks. My name is Peter and I am the leader of St Mark's Church in Jersey, a growing, friendly Anglican church in the centre of St Helier. We want to take the Bible apart and see what's really in there, going beyond the face value to dig a little deeper into certain topics. We will bring you fresh content every week and hope you get a lot out of listening. So, if you're ready, let's go. Hi Ray.
Hi.
Good to see you as always. We're sitting in your study. We are surrounded by books and this is lovely to chat, and welcome to everyone listening. We're doing an episode of Ray's Take today, but we're not really starting with a scripture. We're not following a Sunday service. We're entitling this Ray's Take on the followers of Jeshua. I nearly missaid it then.
There we are.
Ray's Take on the followers of Jeshua. Ray.
Not comprehensive.
Not comprehensive, but an overview.
Yeah. A personal reflection, shall we say.
So what is a follower of Jeshua?
Well, I understand that to be the name that Jewish converts give to Jesus. It's Hebrew equivalent.
The Hebrew equivalent of Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I have been richly blessed over the last X number of years with friends and acquaintances who have been part of the Jewish community, some of whom have been wonderful believers in Christ and some never have, but nonetheless have always been a rich blessing, some in very specific and particular ways. I think of the first director of the CMJ, it's called Church's Ministry to Jewish People, which is 200 years old now as a mission society. It was contemporary with a whole group of mission societies of that time, and has had an incredible work for so very long. And I got to know Derek Ryder and his wife, who some 30, where are we, 40, 50 years ago, was the general director of CMJ. Derek, lovely chap and a rich blessing. And he was the sort of person who got around the country speaking on the ministry in which he was involved, helping the local churches, helped us to plan various things. He helped us plan a Passover at Easter time.
Fantastic.
And
Would he have been a Jewish convert to Christianity? Was he a Messianic Jew, or was he just a Christian?
No, he was Christian.
He's Christian, okay.
I'm not sure about his wife. Anyway, he was somebody who was known well around the Christian community, and was one of the two people who heard that there was a vacancy at St Wan's, Jersey, and thought they had the right bloke for it. And
right. Did he put you in?
And he put us into contact with the patron, or representative of the patron, and then also the General Secretary of the Church Pastoral Aid Society. Had been a friend, David Bubbers.
Yes, David Bubbers.
David.
We've spoken on him in one of our Influential People episodes.
Sorry?
I think we've spoken about him in one of our Influential People.
He's a lovely chap. Still on my prayer list for Thanksgiving. Because he's elsewhere now. And from that point on, right early on, I had an affection for and an appreciation of ministry amongst Jewish people. which in turn brought me into contact with folk from that fraternity. And it was a rich blessing in so many ways. I don't think I was at a conference, Nicola with me, in Holland, Christian conference, and we had various people were there, like Brother Andrew and people like this. And amongst those who were connected to it was Corrie ten Boom.
Oh, wow.
And she was having her 76th birthday party, I think it was.
Wow.
And we were invited to go for cupcakes and whatever. And the following day, she was off to a mission in Vietnam for young people. So it was pretty good going. It was 76.
Yeah.
That brought me into contact with the literature and the whole story of Corrie and her ministry to Jewish people.
Who was Corrie ten Boom? Let's expand on that just for listeners.
Corrie was a Dutch Christian lady who, during the Second World War, with her sister, parents, brother, were provided a safe place for Jewish refugees. They had a construction built into the house that gave them a safe place to go. They were eventually found out, and the whole family found themselves in a concentration camp, and Corrie's sister died there and her father. She survived and had a lifetime of commitment to the Jewish community. And that was an incredible inspiration.
There's a story of her forgiveness.
Oh,
going back to which concentration camp?
Ravensbrück.
Didn't she? She went back to Ravensbrück and met.
Yeah, that's right. She met the person. Well, at least recognised this officer, former officer. If I remember rightly, and was able to forgive.
To offer forgiveness.
Yeah.
Just astounding.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And yet her ministry and life continued to be a blessing. The next person in the Jewish community who impacted on me was my eye surgeon in Manchester.
Yes, I remember you talking about this.
With a name like Emmanuel Saul Rosen. I had a lovely time. When at some point following surgery, we had moved away from Manchester down south, and but I needed still to have follow-up treatment in Manchester. So I used to stay with Emmanuel and June and their family, and for a few nights every 3 months or so. And so I was able to enjoy the Passover, the Friday night meal with them. Although I was there for one Passover as well.
It's the Shabbat.
Yeah, it was, and it was an enormous privilege because I met quite a few of the community, and the Jewish community in the Manchester area is quite substantial.
So this person, Emmanuel, was he a Jewish Christian?
No, he wasn't a Christian.
He wasn't a Christian.
He was Jewish, thoroughly Jewish, and a dear friend. Not always a wise friend, but a dear friend. He's now died.
We talk about followers of Jeshua. Why is this subject important? Why is it close to your heart?
It's just something that's built up over many years.
So for Christians now, though, to have an appreciation...
Well, first of all, Jesus was a Jew.
Yeah.
That is his community. that's where he was brought up. If we want to understand fully the person who is Jesus, he was born a Jew, and therefore we need to appreciate that and understand that. Also, the whole of God's revelation of himself was in the context of a Jewish chosen people.
Yeah.
And therefore, again, we need to understand and appreciate that.
I found myself, where this is Monday today, I found myself yesterday preaching and having to explain what the significance of the fact that a miracle that happened in John, the feeding of the 5,000, it happened at Passover, or just before Passover, and how that links to Exodus. And so all these Jewish references in the New Testament, Jesus is operating among Jews, and was a Jew himself.
You can't understand the full significance of much of the New Testament activity without a knowledge of its roots in the Jewish life, in the Jewish community. And it resonates with them. And the story of Jesus resonates with many Jews. Ultra-Jews, ultra-Orthodox Jews, perhaps less so. But
would they view him as a teacher? Simple as that.
Possibly. I wouldn't really know for sure.
And I suppose, depending on how orthodox they are, would some of them consider him a prophet, or would that be a stretch too far?
Maybe, but what I do know and can say is, at the time of my sort of post-operation visits to Manchester, they were showing the film in the cinema of The Hiding Place,
right,
which is the film to do with Corrie ten Boom.
Yeah.
And I approached my hosts and I said, would you and any of the family like to come and see this film with me? And in the end, I had a dozen Jewish friends to see The Hiding Place.
Wow.
And they were certainly very tearful.
Yeah.
Very impacted by it, and it gave them an understanding of where I was coming from, and it was a real heart render in lots of ways.
In I'm forgetting the name of the concentration camp, Ravensbrück.
Ravensbrück.
I nearly made you say it wrong. Ravensbrück. Corrie would speak and share her faith and talk about Jesus and and hope and have hope, and there's a bit of a light in there. So hearing that, as your 12 guests, definitely would have impact, right?
Yeah, of course it would. Which was tremendous, and it was extraordinary, really, that it seemed to me that there was a God element in my makeup that latched on to this.
Yeah.
Because wherever we went on holiday or any other experience, we seemed to get to know Jewish people.
Ray, didn't you got mistaken for a rabbi once?
Oh yes, I did. Yes.
Go on, share that story.
Oh, yeah, quite funny. We were staying in a hotel near Bournemouth somewhere down on the south coast on holiday with the kids, and the lovely family, Jewish family, were there as well, and we talked freely and chatted, and eventually the wife came up to me and said, can you help sort out a question for us? My husband Alfred, he called himself Alfred, his name was really Abraham, and
wow.
And in the course of that holiday I persuaded him to revert to his proper name, which was great fun. And he said, he noticed on the hotel register that you're a reverend. I said, yes. He's convinced you're a rabbi, but your wife looks too much like a Gentile.
And he convinced you look like a rabbi because
the size of my nose. And,
do you know? When you told me the story last time, that stuck with me, and I'm picturing what them as a couple. They must have been there, like, oh, he could be a rabbi, but his wife's definitely a Gentile. Just talk. Oh, and then plucking up the courage to come and asking and not wanting to sound rude. So funny.
They were a lovely couple, and valued them. Yes.
I suppose you didn't keep in touch afterwards.
No, not eventually. No, initially for a while.
Oh right, okay. How lovely.
Yeah, and elsewhere too. Some around where we lived in northwest Middlesex, in Stanmore Synagogue. Yes, that was one where we got
Stanmore Synagogue. Well, you went into
yeah.
Why did you
went
go?
to must have been a service of some sort. Can't.
Right.
I remember going with Emmanuel and June for their eldest son's bar mitzvah.
Oh wow.
That was spectacular.
Yeah.
And being treated like an incredibly honoured guest.
Ah. How lovely.
It was really quite humbling. That I might think I've got it all.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot to learn from others.
I'm now. This might be a tangent. Bar mitzvahs. Were they biblical?
Coming of age, yes.
Does that always happen at 13? So Jesus would have gone through a bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where the boy would read the Torah.
Yeah.
And he'd have to put on stuff. Coming of age. Okay, so bar mitzvah is a thing that would have existed, 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quite something.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that. And the result is that, I'm still a daily prayer for CMJ, Church's Ministry to Jewish People, and I retain that commitment for so long as.
But it starts with love.
Yeah.
Your care for
and respect.
Yeah.
I well recognise the difficulties surrounding the two understandings of the people of Israel. There is the political unit called Israel.
Yeah.
And then there are the people of Israel who are the people of God. And the two require a different approach very often. And at this point of time, we've got a serious challenge for the people of Israel.
Yeah.
The nation of Israel.
The nation of Israel, yeah.
Which impacts on Christians as well.
So I guess, the point of our conversation is to share your story and your interaction with Jewish people through your life, to encourage people to look up CMJ, I guess, and to look into roots, because actually, if we're Christian, we live in a Judeo-Christian, we have a Judeo-Christian worldview, don't we?
We should have. Yeah.
We should have. These are our roots. It's very important to understand the Old Testament, where Jesus, what was his upbringing, and that informs our interpretation of.
It's delicate because this must not be to the exclusion of proper care for other communities.
Yeah.
We live in an either-or culture where you can only sort of support or identify with one grouping in society, which that's not true.
Yeah, it's true. That is true what you're saying, yeah.
And you have to maintain proper respect for all peoples. You can't have the same level of commitment for all, but you can have proper respect.
Yeah. I've loved talking about this. I've actually got a copy of The Hiding Place in my bag with me, and I'm going to watch it in the coming weeks. So I've appreciated the conversation. Thank you, Ray.
Good.
Thank you for your time.
Bless you.
See you next time.
Look forward to it.
We do hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends on social media. And please do get in touch with any suggestions or comments you may have. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.